guest speaker now this afternoon. All of you in here know. Christine Peterson is an icon in the industry. I was just talking to her a minute ago. 44 years experience in this industry. It's funny, when I started, we've done it 20 years, and I thought at 10 years, there's no way I'd still be doing it at 20. And I just asked her, really, did you ever think you'd still be this passionate after 44 years? And when she gets up here and speaks today, she's going to show you that passion has not left her one single bit. So Christine Peterson, we adore you and love you. Come on up here. She's going to be talking about
can we open it to everybody because we have a lot of new people that need to be inspired? He says, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. And you showed up. You showed up. You are the future of this company. I congratulate you. And I want to thank Samson, all these amazing, amazing leaders. Kim Wee is not here today. She's building Asia for us. Isn't that incredible? We are so grateful to have Kim, one of the highest paid women in the world. I love her. But it's our time to build the U.S. Do you agree? Yeah, we have to do our part. She's over there taking care of that. We have to build here. We have the biggest market ever. And there's no reason nobody's heard it. And thank you, Dr. Dan. Wow, at this time of year, cutting edge science. I mean, and I love what Happy said, first class business, right? Absolutely. We don't have an owner that goes we'll just skimp here, we'll do this, and we'll shortcut. Because, we want to be like the Microsofts, the Amazons of the world, right? Absolutely. Well, I have been in this business 44 years. I was a school teacher for 17 years. Maybe you don't know, or maybe you do know. And someone introduced me to this industry. At first I was like, what? I would never do anything like that. I'm a university graduate. I had an attitude and I was broke. I mean, really. What's all that about? How many educated people, they just barely make it living, trading time for money. But I did have a friend introduce me. Thank you to that woman. They'd only stayed in the business a month. But I was in the business for a month, and then they said this was an event coming up, this big seminar. It was my first platform. I said, well, I want to go. And they said, well, it's sold out. Excuse me. It was sold out. And see, that's what's going to happen here. We're going to get so big that there won't be room. We're going to fill arenas. I can see it. Can't you see it? We're going to fill the arenas. Well, this was an arena full of 6,000 women. And someone at the last minute couldn't go. So they said, do you want to go? And I said, absolutely. And so I flew by myself. I ended up rooming with 3 other ladies, 2 queen beds. I never even knew who they were, but I wanted to be there. Why? Because I wanted to see it with my own eyes. And don't you feel it was worth it to get here? You could feel the vibration. Why are events important? You hear the stories. You see the vision. You see where you want to go. And I remember arriving and looking around the room, and I said, wow, look at all those women. I think they put their pantyhose on just like me. Those are the days that we wore. I know we don't wear pantyhose now. But in those days, I'm aging myself. But I looked around, I thought, all shapes, sizes, colors, languages, all hoping for something better. There's nothing greater than going to an event where you see lots and lots of people. That day, I saw the legendary Mary Kay get up and say, she entered this industry and she was like in Stanley Home Products. And she said she had no money, but she had hope that she wanted to have a better life. And so she borrowed, there was almost like me, so I could identify with her story. She said, there was a convention coming up. She said, I want to go, but she didn't have any money, so she borrowed $60 from a friend to get a bus ticket and some cheese and crackers. Because she knew when she got there, she wouldn't be able to afford to eat with everybody else. And so each day, she got the bus ticket, she went there by herself, and she too, just like me, saw this big, big picture. She saw the president handing out an alligator handbag to this woman. She said, oh, I want to be there. See, it creates a dream. And she went up afterwards and told the president, I will be your queen next year. Well, she was. And that was her story to us. And that day, I looked on the stage and I saw the queen for the day. But I wasn't even looking for that to be on the throne for 15 minutes. I could see a bigger picture. I saw those national sales structures. They were impacting thousands of lives around the world. And I said, I want to be one of them. Now, I just signed up. I was just a little consultant. But I saw it. That's the power of an event. The right people show up and catch the vision. So I flew home. I really didn't need an airplane. I was so excited. And I got off the airplane, and my husband said, well, how did it go? And I said, I'm going to be a national sales director. I had made the decision. It was non-negotiable. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I could see that. And I knew I was on a mission. And so I ran, and this is what I encourage you to do today, is that you're going to create your own events, and you're going to get people, and we're going to talk about in a second how I did this, but you need to always have lots and lots and lots of people. I remember I said to Daniel, I said, well, we had 40 people in leadership. I said, my goal was to get 100 people. Well, we got 130, I think, at this event. And then the next time it'll be 200, then it'll be 500, and it'll be 1,000. And that's what each and one of you will do. Maybe you're just here with one person, but next time it'll be 10, it'll be 20. Can you imagine how it just quantum leap and numbers, because you're selling the dream? You know, I've watched over the years, I don't know if it's really mathematical correct, but it seems to work for me. But for every person I get there to a big event like this, it's worth about $1,000 the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you get 10 people, what's that worth? 10,000? What if you get 100,000? Because they go home, they try the product, they get excited, they tell a friend, and then they tell a friend, and this organization starts growing. So it is imperative at every single event you bring people. Just don't come and show up. Of course, you may show up like I did for that first event, but that's okay, but I saw the vision. I remember seeing one of my people that came into my organization later on. We were opening Mexico, and I told Elizabeth, I said, she was living in Chilpancingo, Mexico, and they said, there's going to be a little seminar. I said, Elizabeth, go. She got on a few tour bus, and she went by herself. She too saw the vision like I saw, and she came back and started building. flew down, and we drove all over all the cities in Mexico, and slept on mattresses. I mean, you wouldn't believe the stories. That's another whole subject. It was an exciting time. But I could see that we were making a difference in so many lives in Mexico. She eventually became the #1 national in Mexico. And she was a single mother, sent her children through private universities around the world, and educated, bought homes, and I changed her life, but not only hers, but she changed so many other lives in Mexico. And that's what your mission is to change lives in this by getting people to events. I remember seeing two guys, I know George knows them, mechanic to millionaire, etc. Two guys, I've only been in 2 companies, by the way. I was in one company for 27 years and 14 years in another. I retired, I had to be pushed out because I was of age, and it's okay, they bought my business out. But I said, I don't want to retire. I've got more to do. I'm not a pampered poodle. You know, I gotta do things. I gotta have life and do things. So I joined this other company, and George was there. He was my upline. He was terrific. Thank you, George Ruiz. And he introduced me to this company. Thank you forever. Thank you forever. But we saw in the other company 2 guys that came to an event. maybe like some of you, didn't have the money, but they slept in their car. They couldn't have a hotel room, but they slept in their car. Well, one was a school teacher who was entrepreneurial in spirit, but he was in debt with credit cards trying to pay. What he was doing is trying to pay his employees and charging them on his credit card and just couldn't get ahead. But he and the other friend, who was a mechanic, all day long, looking up at the bottoms of cars, almost wishing that the car would drop on him, they saw the vision at an event. They came home and they both became millionaires. See, you never know how you change lives. You get them to the events. And so, with this all being said, I had this vision. I didn't, you fall down, you jump up, and all these amazing leaders, we go through all these ups and downs, and you have, incredible leaders today in their teachings. But I decided, I made a move from California, and I had a vision to build and become a national sales director, remember? I moved to Houston in 1989, and the oil crashed. And there was 100,000 people that moved out of the city. And I went like, wow. And people said, why are you moving here? And I said, well, I think it's a great opportunity. And they said, well, everybody's moving out, nobody makes money. I said, opportunity for me. So I came in and said, we're building a new company. I'm going to build the biggest organization. Now that was pretty gutsy of me. There were 60 directors in the city already. I guess you would call it like 4 or 5 stars. And but there was about 2 other nationals already there. It's the fourth largest city in America. And I'm going to say, hey, we're going to be #1. And so it was me. I knew no one. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any relatives. I moved there. My late husband was building a business. And so, but every day, what did I do? We didn't have social media. I'm like Greg and the rest of these wonderful 6 stars. I was a belly-to-belly person. I got up and said, I'm committed. I'm going to get out there every day. And so I started with one little event. First of all, I went out every day, made a statement. I would make 10 new contacts. I went to the coffee shops. I went to the malls. I went here and I went there. I never came home without 10. And I started a small movement. And then pretty soon, people believed me. See, nobody follows a parked car. What's your language? Is your language, well, I don't know, I'm just going to put one foot in the water? Are you all in? That's the deal. Are you all in? Are you committed to getting people to events and building a massive organization? So I moved here and I'm in the gallery. I'm moving around every day. Oh, I just moved here. I'm so excited. I'm looking for leaders. I'm a big game hunter. I'm looking for big game hunters. I love all my people, but I'm looking for leaders. Why? Because one good leader can bring over 1,000 people in your business. This is working smart, not hard. And so I came and said, I'm looking for leaders. They started to follow me because I knew where I was going. I said, by the way, let's meet at the Holiday Inn, a little event, and we'd have coffee, and there was 2 or 3, and then pretty soon I said, well, no, we're going to do this next Saturday. Bring your people. You just don't do this once a month, or when you feel like it. You have to have a schedule. So I got my 10 leads each week. I brought my own personal guests, and then I had those people bring people. And pretty soon we had 8, 10, 20, have coffee in the little holiday restaurant. Finally, the manager says, maybe you'd like to get a room. And I said, well, okay. I was trying to watch my money because I didn't have much money. There was a point in my life I had $300 in my checking account. Oh, but I was a university graduate. Whoa, that didn't make me much money. So here I was now. I am making the money. I gotta watch this time. Okay, I got a minute. So anyway, we started building on these events. And I rented a room. 50 people came. And then people said, I think we'll wait till next month to bring. This was really great. I said, no, we're gonna do it 2 weeks. And another 50 came. And then pretty soon we did it every week, 50, 50, 50. Pretty soon it became 200 every week. That is what happened by the power of events. We created events. We had breakfast, we called it career breakfast, opportunity. And they came. It's like the field of dreams. You get out there and you create your vision. because it is worth it. We became a national area. Then I did the same thing. Important. I moved to Chicago and did the same thing. I got on the streets. I was a national sales director. I could have just stayed there. I was making $20,000, $30,000 a month, but I wanted to make $100,000 a month. So I just didn't sit down and go, I'm a national. No. I went out and I found Kimberly Star in Chicago. And I started another movement. And then I did that in Atlanta. And then I did Miami. I did it in Mexico. I did it in the Northwest. I just felt, and that's what we're all going to do here. You get it? It takes 2 or 3. It takes 2 or 3. And then you go 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500. How many want to have 1,000 people? 2,000. That's how it happens. There's no secret. It's just leading by example, doing the consistent effort. It's fun, and think about all the lives that you are going to change. And my time is up, but I love all of you, and let's make it the best year ever! Because right now I know all of your phones are blowing up, and the person with the most product on the street wins every time. Because if you talk to people and they're ready to get it, but you have to wait a week for it to ship, think about what happens if you have it in your hand already and you can get it them started. And so the more you can buy, the more you can get on the street, the bigger your team grows, because the more stories we're going to have. And I can't wait to have your stories. Don't forget, when that product comes, it's not the finished branded look. This got out there quickly. They pulled off miracles for us to get this product. But remind people this isn't the packaging it's going to look like, but they're not going to care because all they're going to want is the results, and that's what's going to happen when they get them. I want to give a big shout out to Lori Ferraro for hosting that last session. She did a phenomenal job. Her energy and just always edifying people is amazing. And Greg, for your speaking, every time you talk, it's so professional. I think we can all follow the numbers, and I really appreciate what you did there. Holly DeMott, I'm not sure where she is, same thing. I love that Daniel chose different people to host different sessions, because it's fun to hear different personalities do that. Also, don't forget this action plan, the 3 action plan. This is something that really has been around in the industry for years and years. I followed this to a T, and it's why I've had the success I've had. This is something, if I were you, I'd carry it with you at all times. You can have the link. We put it in the WhatsApp groups. It's also going to be in the 3 app where you can access it. And you follow these. You don't leave out a step. And if you'll keep going through those day after day, be consistent, big things will happen. All right, our next speaker, I'm so excited to announce, because we have so many commonalities, really, with Nicole Barone. One, she's out of New Jersey. That's not something we have in common. She is a former pharmaceutical sales rep. I am as well. She also has a son that's at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, who is the same age as mine, and she has a son also at Penn State, so super smart kids. I love the business aspect that she brings to this. I love the energy that she brings to it, and every time I'm with Nicole, here's the thing, as leaders, we're learning too. And if you're not learning, you're not growing. And I always learn from others. And I get that from Nicole. And her energy that she brings is always positive. So I want to give everybody stand up and cheer for Nicole Barone out of New Jersey. She's going to talk about stuff.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you, Molly. What a beautiful intro. So excited to share with you today. I'm really, truly honored. Thank you, Lori, and Greg, and Corbin. Just like all this leadership here, it's been phenomenal. Christine, and my leaders, George and Adrian. So I'm truly honored to be here. By a show of hands, who here came to 3 for some freedom, for better health, for a better future, right? That's right. This is the perfect time for that. this New Year Pro Leadership meeting. Now, I have a more serious question for you, a little bit more difficult. So who knows, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about this as we get into this. That, the question is about your growth. So who is excited about the growth that we had, but then they sometimes hesitate on what to do next? Who here, by a show of hands, be honest? Exactly, and that happens. And that's what we're going to talk about today when we talk about your comfort zone. Maybe you're forgetting to reach out to someone because you're a little bit uncomfortable, right? Or I shouldn't say forgetting, you're just getting a little uncomfortable. Maybe you're not making that ask or that call. And so we're going to address that today, and I'm really excited to have you do that. And I'm truly honored to share the stage because a lot of leaders over the last couple of days touched on a little bit about your comfort zone. Holly DeMott touched upon it yesterday, and we heard from Patrick clearly stepping outside of his comfort zone, right? And signing up for a physique contest. And so that's what I want you to really think about when we touch upon this. And a little bit about my backstory. So real quick, I was in the pharmaceutical industry. I had a corporate career. I was really successful. I loved it. I was leading. I was with a big pharma company. I thought I had it all. And I was calling on all the top doctors in New York City, but what I realized is that I was a really good drug pusher. Okay? And that's not really what I wanted for myself. And so I did a 180-degree turn because I was calling on all the top doctors in New York City. And I said to these two top gastroenterologists on 86th Street, what are your sons going to do? Are they going to be doctors? Two separate doctors. They had two sons. And they said, no, Nicole, they're going to go into business. This is 25 years ago. I said, what? Really? So it had me open up this whole aspect of where is healthcare going? And it really went to that sick care. Okay, so I'm just going to shorten that and say that I did a 180. I became a health coach. I went out to lead and help people. I love to share wellness. And I love everything about helping people. But guess what? Being a health coach, you can't make a six-figure income. You can't help provide for your family. You can't help get your kids through college. That wasn't going to do it, right? I knew I needed another stream of income. I've always believed in multiple streams of income. And this is the industry for that. I put my feet down here. So I get a call from George and Adrian, and I was going to say absolutely no. On day one, I said absolutely yes, because I looked into the facts about this, and I am so thankful for that phone call. So thank you to George and Adrian and all the leadership here. So that's a little bit about the backstory. Now, last year, we were in Las Vegas at a meeting like this, the leadership meeting, and I turned to this young gentleman over here, Daniel Picou, and I said, Daniel, the second week in January, my team's available for a leadership conference. And Daniel turns to someone in corporate and goes, Nicole is available. Let's book it. So thank you for that. Because we are here to grow, right? And I asked Daniel for this meeting because you need it. I need it. I need this, right? So that's how I can go ahead and step out. So let's get started. Okay, I gotta watch that time. We're gonna talk about stepping outside of your comfort zone. And really it is about that growth and courage, right? And it's everything you want is on the other side of uncomfortable. So the truth is, comfort isn't bad. It's not bad. It just becomes a cage. How many of you are comfortable? Familiar feels safe, but it rarely leads to more. We want more this year. We have an amazing product. Thank you, Dr. Dan Gubler. I'm gonna pee in my pants. I'm so excited. I just love it. Like I love it. Like I love it. Okay, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel like a little girl. Okay, so this is what I want you to think about. It's the bullseye, okay? So, I'm here in the center of the stage. I'm in my comfort zone. I'm in my office. I'm in my house. I'm comfortable in my little warm jammies, right? I have my little pants on, but maybe I have a top on for the Zoom call. That's your comfort zone. You need to put on the lipstick and the boys the chapstick and get out of the house. All right, you gotta get out. You gotta get into the familiar. Now I'm gonna go meet someone for coffee. I'm gonna go have coffee at a coffee shop. I'm gonna go to a beautiful hotel like this and have a meeting. And then I'm gonna stretch myself and I'm gonna come out here and now I'm setting up an in-home. Now I'm doing some more meetings. And then all of a sudden I'm out here on the edge. And I'm at a leadership conference talking on a stage. And you can too. You can too. Every single one of you. I came from here and I took a step. And then I took another step. And then I took another step, and I couldn't do it without my leader. I couldn't do it without following you, and you, and you. And that's what we do. Because most people never leave the center. Most people do not leave that. And I'm here to tell you gotta leave it. Because the world is out there. It's waiting for you. Because you got the secret weapon. I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna go back to the center of the dot. I don't want you to think of it as a dot. I want you to think of it as a cage. Your comfort zone is a cage and it's holding you back. You take your pets to the vet in a cage. Does your pet like to go in the cage? No. The pet decides that he's going somewhere and they don't like it. They get upset, right? They get uncomfortable. But that's what it is. You're in a cage and you gotta get out. So staying here feels safe until it doesn't. Safe isn't gonna increase your income. Safe isn't gonna help you grow your team. Safe is not going to do much for you, so you gotta get out. And I want you to think of your comfort zone as that cage. I want you to think about that. Every time you get comfortable, I want you to think about being uncomfortable. That's the most important thing. So what comfort feels like? It's so predictable, it feels normal, it's controllable, it's safe, right? There's so many things that we do every single day we don't even realize. That's our comfort zone. We brush our teeth, we do our hair, we get dressed. When you step outside of that comfort zone, that's where the magic happens. It's so exciting. So comfort keeps you calm, but it's not fulfilled, because I know. And just like me, I'm not where I want to be here at 3. I have more. I am telling you here today on the stage, I'm going to give you more this year. I'm going to give my whole Jersey team, my Florida team, every single person more because they deserve more from me and I'm going to do it for them. And that's so important. So I want you to know that you can do that. So what growth requires is uncertainty, courage, vulnerability, and choice. And you do have to become vulnerable, but you don't have to do it alone. We got a lot of love in this room. We got family in this room. We can do it. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by your decision. So I was here, right? And now I'm coming out here, and I've decided that we are going to grow together. Who's with me? Who's deciding to grow together? 2026. We are going to grow. We're going to take risks. We're going to get out there as well. So here's a funny story, my story, real short and sweet. So I like to think that I live a little bit outside the comfort zone. I push myself, but I too get comfortable because I'm just like you. I'm human. We revert back to what we know. So this is a funny thing. 2 years ago, we were sitting in Las Vegas at a leadership meeting. And I looked at Adrian and I said, we have to go to Hong Kong because Daniel was doing the launch of Hong Kong and we won the incentive for a free hotel and I said, we gotta go. And Kimberly spoke to me so much that said I have to be there and all I could think about was that I have to be there. I went ahead, we talked about it, we looked at logistics, she's like, let's do it, let's go. I go, I need to see a global company. I've only built here in the US ever before, so I've never seen anything global. And I said, I want to go to Hong Kong, I want to experience this. So guess what we did? We booked our flights. I was so excited. I was so excited to get to do that. And then after I booked the flight, what happened? I got scared. I called Adrian and I said, I don't think we should go. And she's like, what? And I go, no, I don't think we should go. I said, you know, our market's here, I have to work in the US, I need to do more here, I'm not done here. Right? I was reverting to the comfort. And my husband says to me, he goes, babe, you're going with Adrian. You're going with this great company. The CEO's there. Dr. Dan's going, you gotta go. And I was like, really? But I was getting back into that comfort zone. So how many of you have a story like that, right? Where you kind of go back and forth, and you need that leader, that partner, that friend that's going to push you. That's why we need each other here, right? That's why we have to. So I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was really funny. It was the best decision I ever made. We had so much fun, so many laughs, such a great, great time. Never say no to an opportunity when it's 3. Always be in an event. Always put yourself in that position, even when you have to stretch. Even if you have to stretch your pocket. Even if you have to. You know, and I know in this room that you've grown so much from where we are today? Do you, right? Like from this weekend, right? Do you wish that like everybody could be in this room right now? Absolutely. So that's a good story there. So the myth is confidence comes before action. Nope, you're not going to be confident. Nope. I just booked the flight. I just said a little prayer. I said, we're going. The flight's booked. Okay, I wanted to back out. I'm not backing out. I'm going forward, right? That's every single time you do a call. I use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method every single time I make a phone call if it's someone that I'm nervous about calling. Yep, I get nervous. I get uncomfortable. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I pick up the phone. Hi, Happy New Year. That is your best line right now. Yeah. Hi, Happy New Year. I use that until February 28th. I got a long list. I can't get to everyone today. Hi, how are you? Oh my gosh, that's great, okay? Confidence is built after you move, not before. You gotta move. You gotta move now. You gotta get outside. Every single person you talk to, you gotta do that. And guess what? We have the time, because Antoinette told us we got a lot of time. You got 19 hours. You got 19 hours, girl. I didn't forget that. Sorry, I'm screaming, I'm so excited. Why we stay comfortable? We fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being seen, fear of outgrowing people. So there's a lot in our life that we've reverted back to, right? There's things that happen in our life, situations that fear pulls us back. But when you're on the outside of that and you're doing something new every single day, you're living in this more growth area. It is so fantastic. And that's, I know, what the leaders will share with you, that they got uncomfortable. They did the difficult call. They did the difficult ask. So your brain's job is to keep you safe, not successful. How's that one? Right? We want to revert. We want to go back. We want to stay in that cage, and we're not going to do that anymore. So here's the shift. Courage creates self-trust. Every time you do something great and something new, it's going to feel more familiar. Okay, that's at the gym, right? It's a little bit easier to lift heavy weight when you do it every day. It's a little bit easier to walk 10,000 steps when you start out with 5, and then 7, and then 8, 9, 10. So every brave step builds with trust in yourself. So I believe in you, Daniel believes in you, the company and the leadership believe in you, and we want you to believe in you. So here's a fun transformation story. As leaders, all we want to do is rise you up. One of my teammates, Mari Maleo, Butterfly, she wanted to go ahead and really use the leadership a lot for her calls, for her presentations, and it was time for her to go. So as leaders, we're trying to build you up and give you opportunity, and she had an opportunity to do a presentation in-home, and I didn't even tell her ahead of time. So we get to the in-home presentation, and just like the leaderships here, we're trying to build folks up to get more comfortable with the presentation. But I said, Mari, why don't you take the product slides this time? And she's like, what? I can't do that, right? Because she got out of her comfort zone. I said, sure you can. You know this information. You must have heard 150 Zoom calls already. So that's what we're trying to do, because we see this over and over again. It's one brave decision. It's her leading and going out, one uncomfortable step at a time, to be a completely different outcome. And that's what I have for all my Jersey crew. Liz is going to start doing in-home presentations. We're going to start doing more, and that's how we get you to that outside that comfort zone. So raise your hand, tell your leader, I'm ready to do more. I want to come up and be here on stage. So the breakthrough was the decision, and that's the most exciting thing. So you all have a transformation story. We heard some here over the last 2 days, which are amazing, but I'm here to tell you that's how it starts. Just one small decision every time. So in reflection, where are you choosing comfort? What are you avoiding? What are you delaying, and where are you playing small? It happens. Yeah, we all play small sometimes, but this is a new year. We're on to growth, and awareness is that first step, which is really important. So I challenge you over the next 48 hours. Send the message, make the call, make the ask, say yes. Some things you're going to have to say no to so that you can get your 3 business going. So you want to show up. Small courage changes everything, which is absolutely amazing. So in closing, your comfort zone will always be there, but your future is waiting outside of it, okay? Choose courage, choose growth, choose yourself. I believe in you. Thank you all.
I think that's important. A lot of people have asked about the PowerPoint because that is duplication. If you could just have something in your hands, in your arsenal, to go through all the information, the product, the company, how to get started, the business opportunity, you could do that over and over again. That new PowerPoint, like Daniel said, will be in the app early next week. Hopefully by Monday, we're tweaking it with the new product and the new product information. So be looking for that in the business information, and I expect all of you to be doing it. You know, something that Nicole and her team did just recently, I was supposed to be up there doing an event and there was a snowstorm. And with that snowstorm, obviously I couldn't make it, flights were canceled. I never cancel a meeting, never, ever, ever cancel a meeting because you don't know who will show up. We pivoted. And so they hosted that meeting. They put me on the Zoom. I was on their TV screen, so I was able to speak to the room. They had a screen where I could see all the people. I could get the feedback. And when it was done, all of them said how amazing it was that really the people, that guests that came, they didn't realize I wasn't supposed to be there. They were coming to that home because of Nicole and Mari and the team. They weren't coming because of me. They didn't know who I was. And so get started. Open up your doors to your home. Open up your living room. Take this new product and start sampling it with people. And so I just want to ask the commitment, how many of y'all are willing to open up the doors of your home? Your friends came before. It doesn't have to be perfect. They were there for a birthday party last week. You don't have to have new throw pillows this week. So who is willing to host an event and start gathering your friends and have fun with it? It doesn't have to be over the chart science or fancy. You don't need a ton of food. You just need to have some bottled water and the product and start sharing it. All right, our next speaker is really exciting because there's so many great things about Dr. Szabo. I think one of the greatest things is that he is on our scientific advisory board. I mean, how many of us are just so lucky that we have this board of doctors that are willing to talk about 3 in the products, give insight, and they do all of this for free. So one, I want to thank all of the scientific advisory board that participates and helps us every single day. But Dr. Szabo and his wife Gladys, they're out building the business too, and they've gone from New York, where he was emergency medicine, now to Florida. They got smart just like us. They moved to Florida, and they're living the life that they could only dream of. So I want everyone to stand to your feet, give a big round of applause for Dr. Stephen Szabo.
Very well. I had just worked 4 consecutive 12-hour shifts in the ER. And I remember I was laying in my recliner staring at the television set all day. I don't remember one thing that I watched that day. I remember feeling very emotionally and physically drained from those 4 shifts. It was just after Christmas, about 6 or 7 years ago. I also remember that I didn't think it was burnout. I think it was a warning. And I remember I never want to feel like that again. And I knew something had to change before that decision was actually made for me. So let's talk about change. Sorry, let's talk about challenge, the topic of my talk here. The first thing that you need to do in order to challenge others is to challenge yourself. And what does that really mean? Does that mean working harder? Does that mean more hours? Does it mean an extra shift in the ER? And that's not what I mean today. I learned that the real challenge, it's not effort. It's remembering what you want and facing your fears and going out and getting it. Because if I'm not willing to challenge myself first, then I don't have the credibility or the right to challenge others. And that's something that I learned the long way. Let me tell you another story. A few years before those Christmas shifts, I was at a leadership meeting. It was in Las Vegas. I remember it well. We were at the Venetian Hotel. We were at one of these large restaurants. Long table, business leaders. We had gone out to dinner after the conference. And I remember one of the leaders, he stood up at the table. We were all having a good time and laughing. And when he stood up, he looked very serious. So we all quieted down and listened to him. And he made this statement. He said, "Do you all want to know the reason that you're not as successful as you want to be, as you say you want to be?" And I thought for a minute, and he continued. He said, "That's because you're all successful in your full-time career, and you're comfortable." And Nicole just talked about that a little while ago. Jessica talked about being comfortable and how that scared her. And now this leader is talking about the problem with not being successful is because you're comfortable. And I thought about it, and the first thing I thought about was, who's he to tell us that? And I got really defensive about it. Any of you ever felt that way? But when you think about it, though, it can be the thing that's holding you back. And so I finally realized that evening that maybe what this gentleman had said was really right. My problem was that I was too comfortable. So what does comfort actually mean? It doesn't mean lazy. It doesn't mean unmotivated. To some, it actually means success. And see, that's what makes it dangerous. Comfort feels like safety until one day you realize that it's putting a ceiling on where you want to go. Let's fast forward a few years. I was a highly successful emergency doctor, board certified. I had set out what I wanted to do. I was challenged every shift. High pressure, never knowing what was coming in the door next. Having the responsibility of somebody's life in my own hands. But something had changed inside. I realized I wasn't being challenged to grow. My dream had changed. My priorities had changed. I had become comfortable. Anyone ever heard of Bob Proctor? Bob Proctor used to say that if something didn't scare him, he wouldn't do it. And he also said that if you want to grow, you have to crash through something called the terror barrier. Even as a confident ER doctor, I've got to tell you, there were aspects of that job that scared me. Like when they yelled cardiac arrest coming in, got my heart beating. But it scared me and it excited me at the same time. I had a bigger fear though, and that was becoming comfortable. I remembered at that time, back to that time when I was sitting in the recliner that I just told you about. I knew something had to change. I resigned from my job. My wife and I sold our house in New Jersey, and we moved to Florida to start something new. I left clinical medicine, and I developed a new passion with our company right here. And you know what? That was scary and exciting too. That was me crashing through my terror barrier. As leaders, we challenge people all the time. We set goals, we set expectations, we talk about growth. But here's what I've learned. People don't do what you say, they do what you do. The most powerful challenge you can offer someone, it's not pressure. It's setting an example that they want to follow. When people see you growing, evolving, questioning yourself, they feel allowed to do the same thing. And that's when leadership becomes influence and not authority. So here's the takeaway I'm going to leave you with as I finish up. The ceiling that your team hits is often that ceiling that you yourself can't get through. Be aware when you're getting comfortable. Be aware when your dreams change. Face your fears. Crash through your terror barrier. And only then can you truly challenge and lead others. What's one thing you can challenge yourself with today? Thank you very much.
Awesome job. Okay, now we got a little treat. We're going to have all the 6 stars and above come up and do a little panel that we've got. But first off, I want to give credit to Lance and Tracy Smith again, like Lori Ferraro was talking about. They're just an amazing couple out of California. Corbin and I have known them really almost probably 15 years or so since being in the industry. We were in a previous company together. We've never got to work together, you know, in an upline, but it's so fun here that we get to. That's what I love about this company and this business is we all get to work together. We all want to see each other succeed and cheer each other on. So they have great wisdom. They're an amazing couple, just a steady Eddie couple that we all rely on. So I want to bring up Lance and Tracy Smith to host this amazing panel. And then can we have that Greg and Lori Ferraro, Corbin, Sampson, Holly DeMott. Who am I missing? Is that it? Come on. You're on The Price is Right. Or Wheel of Fortune. I could be Vanna.
Awesome. We're going to start off a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about where our industry started. You know, we started in our industry like door to door, right? And then we kind of moved into a catalog model. And then we moved into the World Wide Web. And then we went into, of course, you know, the internet. And then we moved into what we have social media today, right? And now we're moving into AI. So it's super exciting and everything's new, right? There's so many new things. And it's awesome. Well, Lance and I, I started promoting, you know, laundry detergent, you know, when I first got in. And then we progressed into some really nice juice product, purple juice, right? And then we went into a product called Instantly Ageless. But here we are, and I'm so excited, Dr. Young, because we're going to move into super sexy, skinny, and rich, right? With GLP-3, right? Can you imagine? So we see this amazing progression, and how exciting it is, because we're always learning. And I'm so excited about it. There's always something to learn, always some new thing. But there's one thing that never changes, of course, is the fundamentals, right? And so the fundamentals, you know, we talked about it this whole weekend. You know, number one, you have the names list, and it goes into the invite, right? And then we have number two, we have the show the plan, and then we have the follow up. So it's just absolutely amazing, and as easy as 1, 2, 3, right? Easy as 1, 2, 3. So I'm so excited to be up here with you, especially with this amazing crowd, and I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, we're excited to be here.
Turn it on.
We are excited to be here. First of all, I want to just give a big shout out to Daniel. We've been in the industry for 38 years. We've been full time for 35 years. We actually love this. We've actually have been blessed to build with several billion-dollar companies. We've been blessed to do a lot of these events ourselves. And never once have I ever seen a leader or CEO do a free event. And I've never seen a CEO or leader do a free event where they fed you. Yeah. And so my hat's off to Daniel. I'll tell you what. Let's stand up and give him a hand. This is special. I've never seen it in this place, and I'm just grateful. Corbin was talking about how you make your money, you invest it back in, and I'm watching Daniel do that every single day. And yeah, thank you. So Daniel asked us to talk about the fundamentals. And before I go to the panel, I just want to give you a really quick backdrop of 38 years of doing this. So my first year in this industry, how many of you have ever struggled in the business? How many of you, I heard Jessica, how many of you ever thought like you were going to quit before? You know, we had that one moment once, and then I thought, well, now what? Go back to what we were doing before? I mean, that didn't work. But here's the thing about it. So our first year, we actually struggled. We got involved at 21, 22 years old in the industry. We were really babies. We worked with the company for about 4 or 5 years, a retail company, and we got laid off. And 16,000 other people got laid off, and we watched a lot of people that were the age of this room crying because they lost their jobs. And so for us, it was a slap upside the head. I'm like, I don't want to be in their spot down the road. And so we started looking. And that road led us to this industry. We jumped in, and our first year was a mess. We got in the industry. My upline quit within 2 days of when he sponsored me. My upline quit, my downline quit, my upline's upline quit. We put a group of 100 people in about 90 days, and about a year later, there was about 5 of them left. Sound familiar to anybody?
Yes.
Okay, but what we did is what we learned, and I remember going ahead, because my upline had quit, I went to an event probably a year into this, and I went and met a guy that became my mentor. He told me 3 things. There's 3 things I learned from him. We went to an event, I caught him afterwards, we had lunch, and he said this, he said, Lance, he said, I know you've been all over the place. You know, you guys have been doing advertisements and newspapers. We were doing all kinds of stuff. We were just throwing darts on the wall, hoping something would stick. And he said, Lance, he said, I got to tell you, he said, this was back in 1987. He says, 20 years ago, there was a company that was started. There was people that became millionaires. They went ahead and put together a pattern. They put together a system. If you follow this system, you're going to be successful. If you veer from it, you're going to waste a lot of time. And there's statistics of a lot of people who've tried this industry and failed. Any of you know anyone of those? Okay, any of you know somebody who signed up for a gym and quit that? Or a church and quit that? Okay, that happens everywhere. He said, if you don't want to be one of the statistics, he said, here's the pattern, here's the system that you got to follow. He said, number 1, figure out your reason why. You don't have a boss, your why is your boss. If your why is not big enough, you're going to quit. Secondly, you got to set some goals and put some commitments together. And they said, the next thing you got to do is you got to write a list, you got to go ahead and contact those people, you got to show the program, you got to follow through, and on that follow through, you register them and you duplicate that process. He says, if you veer from that you're not going to make it. And I will tell you this, we went ahead and stuck with that program. And we put our heads down and we started to run. And a couple of years later, we started to see success. By the time we were 25, we hit one of the top ranks of the company. By the time we were 30, we accomplished most of our financial dreams and goals. And we went to a company, so that was our first company. Our second, and by the way, in that first company, we had technologies coming along. We had something called the internet. Now, back when I started, my first computer was a Commodore 64. My office had a fax machine, a dot matrix printer. Do you remember those? A phone that plugged in the wall. If you're young, you don't have any idea what I'm talking about. And so everybody would come up to me as our team was growing, and they'd say, hey, this internet thing, that's going to change everything. We won't have to show the plan. We won't have to contact. We won't have to do any of this stuff that we've been doing. That's going to do it for us. They said, Lance, what are you going to do? I said, well, until I hear otherwise, I'm going to go figure out my reason why. I'm going to set some goals. I'm going to name this. They might show the plan, follow through, and duplicate. And that's what we did. And we built that company up. And for 20 years, we filled arenas. We spoke around the world. It was an absolute blessing. Okay. 2007, the owners of that company retired. The kids took over, made a lot of changes that were good for them, but not good for us. And so half the company left. And we were one of those. We went to another company in 2007. We met Corbin and Holly. We met Mark Yule. We sat down, and we went from about 10,000 products to 1. That was kind of an eye-opener. I said, I don't care what the product is. I said, tell me what your system is. And one of my friends was over there, so I had a pretty good idea. They said, well, what we're going to do is you find a reason why, you set some goals, you make some commitments, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get a name list, you're going to contact, you're going to show the plan, you're going to follow through. I said, we're going to have a home here. And we went ahead and built that business for about 10 years, something like that. Got to one of the top ranks of that company, had a lot of success over there. It was a great experience. A lot of distractions came along. People were out doing YouTube things. They were doing branding. They were doing all these coaching things. They said, Lance, what are you going to do? I said, well, until they tell me otherwise, you all get where I'm going here. I'm going to go ahead and focus on my why. I'm going to set some goals, make some commitments. I'm going to name lists that might show the plan, follow up, and I'm going to duplicate. That company in 2015 was bought out by another company. It was doing about $400 million at the time where I met Samson and I met Kim. The owners flew us to that company, us and Corbin Hawley, a handful of others, Mark. And we sat down with them, and I said, okay, what products have you got? And they answered products. That was great. I said, more importantly, what are you guys doing over here? And they said, well, we have a system. And I said, well, what is it? They said, well, you find your reason why, you set some goals and make some commitments, you do nameless advice, show the plan, follow up, duplicate. I said, well, you know, we're going to have a home over here. And we built that. Now, in the middle of all that, people were scattering all over the place. They were going doing this thing and doing that thing, and they were, again, doing all this crazy stuff. And for us, we just said, you know, we know this works. And I tell all of you that is we got together, we launched 3 with the idea that we wanted to have a CEO that had a vision for building $1 billion brand. We wanted a CEO that would build a company that was going to last, that would be a legacy company that I could pass to my kids and I could pass to my grandkids. And we found that in Daniel. And when we came over here, you know, it's hard to launch a company. This is the first time I've ever been on the front end of this. I think for most of us here, this is the first time we've ever been on the front end of one of these. But this is our third year. And 3 is going to be the year of 3. This is where it happens. And we sat down last year, we had a conversation. And we said, what's our pattern going to be? Now, I know this sheet was handed out to you. I don't know Holly's talked about this. And some of you put it in your stack. I'm just going to go ahead and run some pile in here somewhere. But I'm going to tell you this. I want you to pull this out. And I want you to put this somewhere where you see it every single day. Because what this is this is your compass. Tomorrow I fly home, and the pilot's going to type in the address of where we're going. He's going to type in San Diego Airport. He has a straight line that goes to San Diego Airport. Now, if you've ever been in a boat or a plane, you put in a coordinate. Is there ever a straight line to get you there? No. Okay, no, that's not. You start to veer off the sides. You start to veer, you know, the wind will happen, you'll have wind shears, you'll have weather fronts come through. That's just, you know, in the boat, I do it all the time. My tides will take me off. This is to get you back on course. This is your compass to get you back on course. And I will tell you, we're coming up with AI, and there's going to be a lot of different stuff out there. I had somebody come up and talk to me about AI the other day, and they said, man, this is great, this is the tool. We'll have this AI tool go show the plan to somebody else, and that will get them all in. And my question is, how many people you talked to this week? How many people you talked to this week? I mean, we tried that. I know with Mark, we tried Black Diamond Builders, we tried virtual stuff. We've tried lots of different stuff to get out of this right here. I've watched it happen for 38 years. This is proven. This is what works. And so that was the first thing he said, you have to have a pattern. The second thing I said, can I make it? I looked at my mentor, he's a very successful guy, passed away about 3 months ago. I said, can I make it? He looked at me at 21 years old, and he said, no. He said, but you can grow. And I said, well, I'm willing to grow. I said, but you know, I'm a numbers guy, so what are the odds I'm going to make it? He said, what are the odds you're going to do this? He said, what are the odds you're going to go out and show this thing 15 to 20 times a month? That's the real odds. I mean, everybody says it from gym membership, but if you don't show up, how much are you going to lose? What kind of shape are you going to be in? And I said, well, with those 2 things I can make it. And the third thing that he said to me is this. He said, Lance, if you go out there and you follow this pattern, and you go out there and you do the work, he said, if you believe in the people, there's no limit to how big you can build this thing. He said, now I say believe in you. He said, it might be you need to go out there and tell people you believe in them, you see. And so we came home, we got excited, we believed in it, we told people, hey, this is going to work, it's great, we believe in you. But I'm going to tell you this, how many of you got in because someone looked you in the eyes and maybe they believed in you more than you believe in you? How many of you, just by a show of hands, how many of you got it? Hold your hands up real high. I want y'all to see it. Do you know AI that can do that? Do you all know any system that can do that, any type of a program that can do it? You say, if you go back there, what happens is this, we live in a world where people are crushed. People have been destroyed over COVID, they're financially struggling, they've lost faith in themselves, and if you go look at somebody and look them in the eyes and say, you know what, I know this thing, we got a pathway, we can get you out of this thing. He said, because we're not in sales, we're in the business of solving people's problems. That's what we're doing. And what problems do we solve? If someone has financial problems, can we solve that? Yes, we can. If they have health problems, can we solve that? Now, thanks to Dr. Dan, if they have weight problems, can we solve that? Yeah, we can solve that. So we're in the business of solving people's problems. So you help people solve their problems and tell them you believe in you, or you believe in them. There's no limit to what you can do. And I was laughing because a couple of months ago I was talking to a guy, and I looked at him, and he was a guy that kind of, you could tell his confidence was down. And I I said, you got skills. I said, if you put your head into this thing, you could crush this. You'd be really good. He says, I bet you say that to everybody. I said, you're right, I do. And about 10% of them believe me. And all the ones that got rich with me, that's what they did. And that's what we're going to do. And so I tell you that because we have a pattern. We know how to make this thing work. And we've got some of the leaders I look up here. I'm going to tell you the greatest thing about 3 is the deep bench that we have here. We had a chance at 25 years old, as you can imagine. We hit it pretty young in a new company. And we've traveled to, I think, 60 different countries and spoke to over 5 million people from 25 to 35. We were the warm-up band. They'd send us up there and say, look, these guys can do it. You guys can do it too. I mean, that's who we were. And we've spoke to organizations where there are 10,000 people in the arena that don't have 1 or 2 of these type of leaders in there. I can tell you this. I mean, literally every one of these leaders, the leaders here, Jessica back here. And what's funny about the pattern that we've got, Christine, I was never in the pink company, but I know you did this stuff. Jessica, I was never in your company. I know you did this. I mean, I know Adrian and George, I know you guys did this. We all did this. And so here's what we're going to do today real quick, and I'm excited about this. I'm going to make this quick. So I want to ask this group, everybody wants to go out there and do what you guys have done. Hundreds of millions, in income, billions of dollars in volume. What was your breakout? What was it that you did? What part of the pattern did you break out? For me, I wasn't good at a lot of things, but I showed 20, 25 clients a month for 7.5 years straight. That's what made me a millionaire. So, Holly, what made you a millionaire?
Okay. Wow. Here we go. First of all, when I look out and see everyone, like just when he was talking, like I pictured this room with all of you being 6-figure and 7-figure earners. Like you guys, the energy of that felt so strong. Like you're in the seat to do that, feel it, act it. Okay, so I could talk about my previous company, but I really want to talk about at 3, what broke me out. Because I did achieve 6-star in a little over 2 years. And the key that I would say was working promos. So this week is important to me. Up until the 19th, I'll be working the promo just like I worked it every single other time. That power up is no joke. So I already got the list going. I already have the team on it, plenty of events. So working the promos is a huge breakout to rank advance not only yourself and your people. Like I blocked off my schedule this week. I texted my boyfriend and said, when are you coming to Scottsdale? And I'm like, you might want to hold off on that. Like I seriously, my week is blocked. There's 15-minute increments that people are booking power-up calls with me to know how it looks in their business. There's GLP launches happening. There's Zooms happening. So promos is one. So I'm going to actually do twofold. The second one outside of the promos, because we don't only work during the promos, we build to that. That's how we have a strong base for the promos, is the Connect Zooms. It's the face-to-faces, and it's the Connect Zooms, and really getting good at the edification. Getting really good at edification, really getting good at setting up those Zooms with urgency. So that's in the system with the team. To know, okay, I have someone on the hook, I have someone who wants to know more. Their next move is not to wait. Their next move is to book a Connect Zoom. And those are powerful. If it could be in person, amazing. I could go on and on about different things, but those two, I would say, working promos, urgency, focusing, working with your teams, and of course that includes connecting with your own people, your own L1s, your new people, and then of course it's the Connect Zooms, and getting really good at those. Because I would say for a new person in here, go out and do 10 Connect Zooms with your leadership support team. You are going to hear so much language in there that you're gonna just sit there and take notes on. And you're gonna use that language, you're gonna start hearing yourself saying, wow, I just said what they said. Like it's like listening to a song on the radio where you're like, I know the words to all these now. That's what 10 Connect Zooms or in-persons will do for you. It just becomes part of your confidence and your lingo. Those are the two things that really broke me out within 3.
What was the question?
So what did you do? you know, you look at this as the top one, I mean, quarter of 1%, the very elite, and what was the thing that you did that really made you break out?
Okay, that's a great question. It kind of relates to what you said, Lance and Tracy. You know, you can have the best system, but you still got to be the one to work it. Okay? It's very important, each one of you. I know what Holly said, like, she sees all of you can be the 6-figure, 7-figure earner. My question to you is, do you believe that? Do you emotionally believe that? Because that's where the real belief is. It's not in the words. You know, I saw a lot of slides on the comfort zone. The reason why you're in the comfort zone, because we put ourselves in a trap by the language we use every day that occurs within our subconscious repeatedly over and over and over again. That's why it's so hard to get out of the comfort zone. If you want to get out, one thing Holly shared yesterday was contrast. Do something completely different. Be somewhere completely different. Talk completely different. Dress completely different. That is what growth is about. Because that one thing that changed my career is that I realized I need to grow. If you ask me, when I was in my furniture business, in my real estate business back then, when I make money, lost everything, and then just get a job as a regular auctioneer, day in, day out, get paid to show up. There's no growth there. If you told me that, Samson, you need to grow to make more money, I said, well, what is that? Right? If you think about it, I mean, if you're first time in the industry, if you're just at a job or in a business, you're so busy every day. How do you have time to think about growing? Growing what? Hopefully not the waistline. Now that'd be the other way, right? Not now. But the fact is, when you grow, your mind will open. We always talk about open mind. But that open mind is a possibility. You know, it's like this. In life, they say step by step. It's just like the traditional computer program. It counts zeros and ones, zeros and ones, and zeros and ones. It would have to calculate every single digit at a time. Now, they talk about quantum computing, where the data is like a cube, so they call it a qubit of data, where all possibilities are calculated at the same time. If you want to tap into what the world has to offer, you got to be out of your head, out of your pattern, where your primitive brain, your subconscious reside, that holds on to the pattern that keeps you in the comfort zone. Go do something different. You can do it because we all have something called neural cortex. That's where your consciousness operates, at least that's what we think it is, where you can think of new things. You know, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. 95% are the same thoughts you had yesterday. So how hard is it to change? So what I would suggest, really get to feel what it feels like to have a 6-figure, 7-figure income. When I had no money, lucky I work at the car auction, I see all these fancy cars go by all the time. I used to go window shopping. You know, I took a picture last year when I took my daughter to New York, and there's this one Hugo Boss store where I went in when I had just started to make money in the industry. I took a picture in front of that store because I walk in at that Hugo Boss store, Columbus Circle, and say, hey, I look at the shirt, right? $275 a shirt. I said, holy cow, that's a lot of money. But then I thought to myself, just to try to justify it, right? It's like, when's the last time I threw away a shirt? Oh, never. Okay, I can afford it. And the salesman say, try it on, it's free. When I put it on, oh, it feels so good. I'll buy it. That was a breakout moment for me. That made it all worth it. So think about what your breakout moment could be. The thing that you want, the thing that you're willing to get out of your comfort zone. And make it happen, use the system, plug yourself into the system, and grow. And work. Work like there's no tomorrow. Because tomorrow is never promised. Thank you.
The two things that really broke it out for Lori and I, And when we got started, we were young, and we didn't have success right away. We struggled for many years. But we saw the concept, we understood the concept, we saw people making it happen. Anybody in here like that? That's where we were at. And we finally had a mentor that was real with us. And he told us, he said, you need to treat this business as a multi-million-dollar business. You need to make it that kind of a priority. We had never ran a multi-million-dollar business. I had a father that had a very successful business, and I watched all the sacrifices that he had done to do what he had done, the commitments that he'd made. So we made a decision that we were going to commit to our business at that level. We don't treat 3 as being a brand ambassador. We treat it like we own the company. We work this business as if we own it. We treat it as if we own it. That's how we operate. And what happened when we started acting like that, things started to change. Our commitment changed. You heard our story about, how we slept on a blow-up mattress and we went to an event, we had no money. We went to that event, and I remember that event changed everything. I mean, we came out of there committed. We were treating our business like a multi-million-dollar business. And from that point on, there was no excuses. Everybody that we brought into business, we made sure that they came to these events so that they could see the same thing that we did. That's what helped duplicate our business. And our commitment was second to none. There was no excuses. We treated it like we invested everything we owned into our business, and failure was not an option.
I think you're going to see a common theme here. I mean, I would say 3-way calls, PBRs, which are private business receptions, and building your business from event to event to event. Within that, PBRs, private business reception. Now, private, because it's your personal PBR. It's in your home. It's not a group combined PBR. Private meaning not combined, meaning it's your own. Because when people combined, they don't work as hard because they're always relying on somebody else. If I combined a PBR with Corbin would drink it all. No, if I combine PBRs with Corbin's not going to invite as hard as if it's his private business reception, because he's going to think, well, Lori will invite hard, so if I have a bad week or I have a bad day, it's okay, Lori's inviting, and vice versa. And so when you have private business reception, meaning it's your own PBR, can other people plug in? Sure, but when that person knows this is your PBR, this is your private business reception, they invite a lot harder and work a lot harder versus combining. So PBR after PBR after PBR, because you're also staying warm. You're also staying warm, and people say, oh, I don't know anyone. Well, if you're doing a couple PBRs and you're bringing people in from those private business receptions, what's the first thing you do? You set up PBRs with those people, and they know a couple people who know a couple people who know a couple people, and you stay in your warm market, because it goes from warm market to warm market to warm market versus cold. Can you work cold market? Absolutely, you can work cold market, but what we always tell our team, cold market is like taking a cold shower. It's not super fun. Can you do it? Will it get the job done? Yeah, you can do it. You're just not going to have as much fun as a warm shower. A warm shower is much more relaxing. It's much more pleasant. So we always say PBR after PBR after PBR, private business reception, keep scheduling them because you stay warm, and it's a lot more pleasant build.
Okay, I would just say consistency. It's all about being consistent in your daily activities. It's the only reason we're sitting here today, and also not asking others to do what you're not willing to do yourself. Since being in this industry as long as I have, I'm always in the trenches. We're always at the top. It's still recruiting. We're always qualifying for every promotion that's out there, and we're also the biggest promoters. The biggest promoters win. You need to know what's happening within your team, within your upline, and within the company, and be promoting that every single time. Get your calendar out. Sundays I would set aside and I would find out what's going on for the week, and I'd make sure my team knew. I don't assume my team knows everything that's going on. Too much information is being thrown at them, so I send it as well. Always follow up and be available. I'm always available for my team. They always knew that, and that's why they were able to grow, because they knew I would be on the other end of the phone if they called. I would be at their home helping them if they needed it. So stay consistent, be available, and do the daily activities over and over again. Know your goals. I want to contact 2 to 3 new people every single day. I still do that today, even 20 years later. So get in the trenches, do the daily activity, and you'll see success.
So when I got started, I had a head start because she was killing it, but I wanted to follow a system. I didn't want to try to reinvent the wheel, and I learned what there's multiple facets of the system. But the thing that made the most sense to me, what are the income-producing activities in the system? And I needed to become an expert at those income-producing activities. And how do you become an expert in income-producing activities? There's really 4 of them. You build a list, you contact, invite, you show the plan, you follow up. How do you become an expert at that? You do it over and over and over and over and over and over, and when you're tired of doing it over, you do it over again. Just like Lance said. So what I became really good at, and what I was really bad at, I focused on what I was really bad at to become really good at, and continued to do what I was really good at. So the toughest part for me was contacting and inviting. So one thing I learned from a guy that had made $100 million in the industry, I said, what do I need to do? Give me the system that's going to get me there. I want what you got. I want it bad enough that I'm willing to make the sacrifice of being a corporate guy working 60 hours a week. What do I need to do? Right? That's what you're all asking. What do I need to do? He said to me, can you talk to 2 to 3 people every single day? Sure, I can do that. Can you show the plan, meaning that PowerPoint, the flip chart, or doing a Zoom or something? Can you do that 3 to 5 times a week? Yes, I can do that. And can you follow up with someone every single day? Yes, I can do that. So I got great at it. On Sundays, like Holly said, I would start working a plan for the week. And I would set up where I showed the plan 5 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, before work. Still had my full-time job. I'd meet someone for a coffee. I'd meet someone for a lunch. Or I'd meet them after work. And I did that tirelessly. Where I became an expert at picking up the phone and calling people. I mean, how tough is this going to be? Guys, I just found the most incredible product that's going to help people lose weight and make money. Are you open to hearing more about it? Can we all do that? I found something that's the next big thing that's going to help people lose weight, and make some money. Sorry, Florian's like that. I mean, it's not that hard. I found something that is the next big thing that's going to help people lose weight and make some money. Are you open to sitting down with me? Are you open to getting on a Connect call? Are you open to jumping on a Zoom? Can you meet me for coffee tomorrow? Can you meet me for lunch tomorrow? Can you meet me after work tomorrow? Can you meet me after the kids go to bed? This is going to be so big. Can we all do that? And then fill up our week with 5 times? 5 times showing the plan. Yes, I'd love to hear more about it. Perfect. I got tomorrow morning at 7:30. I've only got 15 minutes before work. Can I count on you to be there? Hey, we're doing something at our house on Tuesday night. I'm only inviting some of my top friends that I want to hear about this. Can I count on you to be at my house on Tuesday night? Hey, I got this Zoom. I'm only inviting a select few of people that I really want to work with on. It's going to be Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Can I count on you to be there? And I became an expert at doing that, on all of that. And that's how, God, I didn't want to do this, full-time job, busy all the time. Wife had already had success. I had to get my name in the back office. When she told me, when I said I'm going to join and I wanted Corbin and Holly Roush on the back office, she says, when you enroll personally yourself 40 people, you can get your name on the back office. I enrolled 40 people, and I'm forever known as Holly and Corbin Roush, not Corbin and Holly Roush. So that's it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all you guys. This is just amazing leadership. It's time to go out there, go home. People set their New Year's resolution. They want to get healthier. They want to make more money. They want to lose weight. It's the time. So let's go finish what we started. Thanks, everybody.
All right, amazing. Okay, we have another speaker coming up, and oh my gosh, I had such a joy meeting this gal in Las Vegas at our last event. She stood up in the room. You could just see she like radiates joy, and life. And she's just such a pleasure to be around, so I know you're going to love it. From Kansas City, we're not sure if it's Missouri or Kansas, she'll have to tell us that. But she's a mother, she's a business person, owner. She's also very influential in her community and out there just doing all the good things that she can. So I want everyone to their feet, all the way from Kansas City, Elizabeth Muny. Look how gorgeous she is.
Daniel, I am so, in my heart, grateful to the Spirit and soul that brings you to us in the form of Daniel. I am so happy that we're here and that it's two dance, right? And Dr. Picou, I am so, Dr. Picou, Dr. Picou, I said this so many times in my head, and that you're here because it really is about health. And I quickly just want to thank some other people. Christine, for leading the way. We love you so much. I especially want to thank Shannon. Shannon, where are you, wave? Who never gives up in just the smallest, sweetest voice. Elizabeth, I think we should try this. And for all the pink girls, you know, it's about the fire horse, right? It's time. It's time. And let me set my intention because I will be talking about what? People need to know you're committed. But I was thinking, what do I want you to take away? What I want you to take away when I tell you a little bit about me, and between my accent and speaking fast, I pray you get it, because he said, you got 15 minutes. If you finish 30 seconds before time, you'll be my friend. I want to be his friend. So what I was thinking I want to leave you with is I really want you to see in my story, which might sound a little different from yours, but I want you to see that if I can do it, you can do it 10 times more. That's really what I want to leave you with. And then the second thing in talking about commitment, I want you to know the first thing, and I want to tell you what I consider my magic then and today. So first, just a little bit of background. I have been in network marketing for 25 years. I am originally from a country called Cameroon. No, it's not an island, it's the West. It's West Africa. It's called Cameroon with a C, not a K. Okay, and that's where I was born and that's where I grew up. And I came to this country at 21. I want you to know, I hear people here who went out and worked at 16. We stay home till 30s until when we get married. I come from a background of people who have doctorates, masters. So you can imagine what was expected of me. Complete failure. I didn't take that road. Okay, so moving forward, came here because most of us come here to further our education. And so I was in school in Chicago. Mary Kay found me 6 months, I said the word. Okay, found me 6 months into the country. But I really want you to know that every one of you is here by destiny. You asked to be here. You signed to be here for a time as this, for a time as such. Yes, you did. You just have to be aware of it. And so I came in, and that was just how God brought me through the window. When I said 25, like, oh, she's really good. No, all my degrees were in Mary Kay. I learned so much, and I will tell you that I worked very hard. I didn't know I was working hard. I loved it. Here are the things I found out about myself. I love to learn all the time. Everybody has something to say all the time. I'm gonna learn. It was so uncomfortable, it hurt, and yet it was so good, it was so sweet. And in that, I allowed myself to dream big, and that was my route. But I'm gonna tell you it was hard because none of my family members thought. I mean, I was in those grades for starters, selling lipstick. I mean, you can imagine. No way. It was like, you're lower than low. But I was determined on my own side by myself to make this happen. It was me, myself, and I started. And yes, I got 14 of those pink cards. Last month on the 31st, I turned it in 10 minutes ahead of time. I retired. Yes, I did. You see, I learned so much. And there comes a time when you say, is this still serving me? And I would say that part grew me. First part of that business is grew me. See, God just had to kick me through the door and say, okay, honey, go there and let's start. You got so much work to be done on you. We're gonna clean your head, clean your mind, all of that. I had to learn, first part. Second part, I started believing. And the most powerful thing, I think, my magic is subliminal programming. See, I couldn't believe the math. All the smart things you hear here, it wasn't me, I couldn't see it. But my heart is for people. I gotta win with people. I saw that, I love that. I just thought, oh my gosh, nobody in my community or other African communities thought this was a way to go. Like, you know what, you're a failure. That's what people, they sell when they have nothing to do because you need to go get all these degrees. And so I thought this is my way and I proved it. And so I knew it was easy for me to reprogram my mind. That contrast is key. And so it was solely that. I picture it, it comes. Put it everywhere, first car, second car, third car. Going, getting those pink diamond, those diamond rings, all of that. And that got me through. Got married, had the children, paid and did everything. Had a divorce. That paid for the divorce. It was very expensive. But I was paying for my sanity. You gotta, crawl in and run out if you have to. Okay, so that was it. And then I have to the first phase. Because I divorced when my number one was 2 months old. My number two was 2 months old, my number one was 5. But I'm gonna tell you that subliminal programming, knowing the positive, knowing what was important, I knew that what was in your minds is what is gonna get them, not the fluff, the house and all of that. So we started all over. And I moved to Kansas where people thought, what are you gonna do there? You don't have business there, but they were first for me. See, I'd worked hard. I knew I could do that. Then COVID came and everything changed. I tell you, it was a brutal divorce. But I was gung-ho to be with my kids. See, I made very unconventional choices. I did swimming programs with my kids. That's a story for another time. I had to let them understand the man. It was many things. How they ate everything. I don't know who said she was a drug pusher. I knew that secret way before it was out. So I was determined that I would make my own drugs with my own hands all the time. See, I have bags from trees of Africa in my freezer, for real. So that was a choice I made. But I didn't have it in me to run around the entire country doing what I did. But I will tell you, the world has changed. And I knew that in 2023, and I prayed and I said, I wrote 3 things down. I said, I need a company that is I can start from scratch. I didn't even know it existed. And I couldn't tell my sister because they would have thought I was crazy. Then I also said, I need a company that has no quarters. We're not counting products. I needed that. And I put it there. And lo and behold, I started using the products. Adrian, where are you? Thank you, I love you. Okay, and Shannon came along and told me about the business. And then here's Daniel Picou with all that I had prayed for. So it made it easy for me to walk away and turn in that 14th pink last month. And it's a new. And this place is going to get my boys to college and an incredible life. So let me tell you, this is my 2. And Zelman and Zyler, now 11 and 16. And I want to tell you what this company can do, what this industry can do. It took us to Africa. That was 2019. My dad always came here. But 2 years he had not been, he's been so busy. And I decided we're going to go to spring break to visit him for 10 days. The last time I saw him, he passed away later that year. But I could go because I didn't have to talk to anyone. I decided we were going to go in spring for 10 days, and we did. And I was able to celebrate Zyla's 5th birthday with all the family members and friends in Cameroon. Isn't that special? Yes. And so this is what is done. I am unapologetically committed. Absolutely, not a question for those 2 boys. What are you committed to? Because that's it. It may not be I'm committed to the business first, but you may be committed for certain things in your life. So let's talk about it really quickly. You can take pictures because I'm going to run through. I really want Daniel to be my friend. Okay. People need to know you're committed. People don't follow hype, they follow commitment. Your team doesn't need perfect leadership, they need leadership that can count. I know when I came here, I had so many decisions to make. Last year, I'm gonna tell you guys, in full transparency, it was the most riveting year. 25 years is not a joke. I have friends, I've traveled the world with these people. I have real friends, and I had things I was not happy about. I didn't have to quit, but I had to make some decisions. And it was rough. But when I came in here in March, the first commitment I knew is when I heard it, this business, for those of you who are new, it's so huge. If you think you get it now by being in here, you're going to be getting it. I had been in something that I thought was really huge, and I really did that, six-figure income and all. But I would tell you that this was bigger, simpler. I am so grateful. And so, what I really want you to remember here is, we went in March. In 3 months, we had over 200 people. I became a 3-star, I think, the first 2 weeks. I didn't know what I was doing. When I heard it, all I understood was, Elizabeth, for you to start, you got to get a couple hundred people. That's all you got to do. And I'm still learning, and I'm still understanding. But I'm so happy that I came in running. If I do anything, I give you permission. Go out and go crazy. It's okay. You can't go wrong. Just get tons of milk, and the cream is going to be more. Okay? All right. People don't need you to be flawless. As you can see, I try. I am not. But they need you to be present. My people know that I'm present all the time. In all the craziness with the boys and all, they know I'm with them in the trenches all the time. Leadership is constant, not charismatic, okay? You know what that means. When you show up, your team rises. When we came in, and I didn't know really what 3-star was, because we just went into it, and this must be important. So I talked to 20 of my people. You're gonna be one, you're gonna be one. And I didn't understand, I was breaking it down to them that they needed 6 people on 3,600 points. It was not directly from them, but that's what I thought. They later told me, no, we don't think that's what it was reading. I'm like, oh, okay. But they did it, and so they had 8. It was 8 of us who became stars. Are you with me? Bottom line. Okay. And then when you disappear, trust grows. Is that true? Yes. So no matter what, I am in there. Bottom line, your consistency is what? Your power. All right. Commitment builds trust before results. Most people decide whether they trust you long before success. Are you with me? I know that. This is so true. Think about it for yourself. When you join in, you were trusting the person, or were you thinking otherwise if you've never done anything like this, right? All right, next, what matters? Trust is earned through reputation. They know. They can count on you. Always. Constant. Morning, afternoon, evening. It's the calls. Who you say you are with them all the time. No, I don't know. That's just something I do on the side. If that's just something you do on the side, or I was thinking about it because stuff is not going good now, guess what? That's what your team is going to emulate. Okay, showing up matters more than your excitement. I get excited. I'm going to tell you, I really do. My kids know me. I get excited. But I know that the details, and my friends know that, my team knows that, when it comes down to it, we got to dice this thing, we got to make it happen, who cares, right? Okay, showing up matters more than the excitement. Whether you have 2 or 200, doesn't matter. You know, I've had some disappointments coming here. I wanted things to move much faster, but I have to have patience and allow me to grow. Even this is a different platform, because of that, I gotta let me grow, okay? And then when leaders disappear, the team crumble. Okay, bottom line, your presence builds trust faster than your words. Hey, yes? All right. Okay, commitment must be visible. Commitment is your head, in your head. Doesn't move people, action does. Yes, is that true? Yes. All right, and what are the actions that we know? Okay, so signals teammates watch for, show up consistently. Even when you have one, even when stuff, I had some time between school starting and that where it was like dead. I was like, well, we came in here, we did all this stuff, what's going on? Yes? But I showed up. I called Christine. I said, Christine, hold me up, because I need somebody to be accountable. I'll be talking to Shannon late at night. I'm like, Shannon, I need somebody to see me because I know I have a lot going on, but I need to be accountable, okay? Showing up consistently. I have been to events. Very first week, Christine called me. I flew down to Dallas and to meet with Tim, and it changed everything. It's like, whoa, this is big. I want to be a part of it. That brought a lot of clarity. So I want you to applaud yourself. You know that first level in commitment because you are here. You know what that looks like. Okay, attending calls and events. We've talked about that. You've heard that a lot today. Weekly posting, inviting, partners over promises. Yes, people can connect the dots. She's there. We can count on her. She's going to answer her phone. You know, because, I can't do anything right now. No. I have crazy going on all the time. I'll be honest with you. No apologies. It's part of my life. I signed up for this. And guess what? But when she calls me, I'm with her. I'm like, girl, I can talk to you right now. Can I call you for, listen, and I will be there for her. Right? My people know I will be there always. Okay. Bottom line, people believe what they see, not what they hear. All right. People borrow your confidence. I still live with people's confidence. I really do. But I remember in the pin company when I came in, I didn't know what they were talking about. You could put that name on a billboard, I wouldn't know what it was. But my heart beat, like you could see me, this little girl from Africa, oh, she can't talk, she can't do anything. I was not this mean. It grew into me. I grew into myself. But here's the truth. It was in my heart, right? That's what we all feel now. It's in your heart. Yeah. And so I had to borrow other people's confidence. New teammates don't yet believe in themselves, to borrow. Okay, remember? People join you before the business. If you hesitate, they freeze. If you control the emotion and the thermostat. Calm leaders, calm teams. Bottom line, what is that? Your certainty becomes your ladder. Yeah? Okay, take notes. I'm working to be Daniel's friend. Okay. Commitment matters most in a quiet season. Leadership in person is proven in stillness. Did I tell you the quiet time we had just this past year? We had several of those. Expect them. But understand the season. What is the season you're in now? What is the season the company is in? How do we connect the dots? We're in a time of, I'm telling you, crazy momentum in this company. We are so lucky. I had Adrienne talk last night about when she couldn't believe it was only 28 people in the room when they started, and she's like, I've always wanted to be at the start of something. I think someone mentioned, like Lance mentioned it this morning, and guess what? I said, sister, you were there with 28 people? I'm here now. How many of us are in this room? It's gonna be thousands and thousands of millions of people, and guess what? We were here. Yeah. That's right. Okay. So, when you know that quiet is what? Preparation. Don't be bothered. Okay? Right now, you may have one or two. You're preparing. Are you with me? Are you? Are you? Yeah? Okay. And then slow, stabilizing the season. So you can define things. You get it? Are you getting the memo, guys? Yeah. All right. Okay. And then you have momentum, rises after consistency. So you can change that thing in a week when you go home because you're calling. We're getting on that call at 6 o'clock or 7, wherever you are in the country tomorrow. You are calling people like, I'm telling you, everything is about to fall. I used to tell people, look out your window. She's like, what is this? So what if the moon was coming down? Are you going to call someone and say, oh, excuse me, I think the moon is going to drop. Did you see it? All right. Harvest comes after planting. Yeah? So if you want that, my deal is 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, 90 days, and then I know what I'm doing on a daily basis. Because we can all eat that elephant, right? One bite at a time. All right. And then bottom line, quiet doesn't mean stop. Quiet means build, right? So we are building no matter where you are, because right now, I don't know where you are, but we're in momentum season in this company. All right. So, call to action in the next 90 days. Did I say next 90 days? Yes? All right. So, my answer is this. What is one action that proves your commitment weekly? One. If you already know it, put your hand up. If you already know it, okay, you figure it out, right? So look at that. Suggestions. You can attend your weekly Zooms. That's just one thing. Reach out daily. Invite. This is just different things. You've heard everything today. But so I am here to remind you. All right? I am here to remind you. Bottom line, people stay when they trust you. Okay? So, what is my closing? Leadership is not perfection. I love to say that you're perfect in your imperfection. It makes me calmer, you know? And then, if we could just see that together, when your commitment becomes visible, your team decides faster, and when they decide, they stay. So now let's all say it together. When your team becomes visible, your team decides faster, and when they decide, they stay. Bottom line, your consistency becomes hello. I'm excited. Let's get a great leader. Thank you.
All right, did she do a great job? All right, what an event. And we still have one more speaker to come out. But guys, I want you to take everything that you got this weekend and put it into action. The worst thing that you can do is get this information you got this weekend and go home, sit on it, think on it, contemplate, plan, strategize. Get out there and just start sharing. The quicker you share, the more people you tell, the sooner you get your product and get it on the street. Have your Zooms planned, have your one-on-ones planned. As you're going home tonight, you can be making calls. Don't wait. The biggest people that are going to grow in this business take action and take action now.
What an amazing event. You know, like I said last night, this just speedboats by. It just goes by in a blink. And it's because the leaders came prepared, your speakers were prepared, they came up here, they delivered, they've given you everything you need to know to be able to now grow up and grow a business. And the main thing is just like the Chicago Bears last night. They could have quit. They could have said they were done. But what did they do? They fought and they fought and they fought and they came back and they won. And that's what we all got to do. We got to fight this year like our dreams depend on it. How many people have a dream and they want to have that dream happen? You got to go fight for it. You got to build a bigger list. You got to reach out to more people. You got to do more Zooms, more one-on-ones, more three-way calls. You have to do more home meetings. You have to do more events because you showed up and your dreams depend on it. Am I right? So we got to go, guys. Our final speaker, Daniel, I've known this man now for what? 9 years? 9 years, guys. And I used to say something about him. He worked tirelessly and he worked hard and he was always at the office. And I thought I was edifying him. And I wasn't. Because why was he working in those hours? Why was he sacrificing time away from the things that he loves to do in his family? Because this is his family too. And he cares about each one of us. He knows almost everyone in this room by name, and if he doesn't, he will soon. Because he truly loves people. He works tirelessly so we don't have to, because he loves people. For him to put on an event like this is 20 years for Holly and I, 38 years for Mark, 38 years for Lance and Tracy, 44 for Christine, and we have never seen an owner that is willing to put all the money up and feed us because you know why? He truly cares about the people in this room. So I want you to get to your feet. Guys, we will never have another owner like this. We need to bring as many people as we can into this room so they can have an owner, a CEO that can give them their hopes and dreams. Guys, this is Daniel Picou.
Give a Holly Corbin a big hand, huh? We're going to wrap up. I'm going to share with you 2026. But I first off want to thank every single person that shared. Elizabeth did an awesome job. I could go presentation by presentation, speaker by speaker, and I'm just in awe. I love, Jessica Johnson mentioned this to you, but she texted me last night. She said, I'm so blown away by the quality of the leadership in this company. And I could not agree more, and I could not be more proud of what's just happened in a couple of years. So I want you to give all of the speakers, and I want you to give yourself a big hand. Everybody that knows me knows I love quotes. And June in Salt Lake City, I shared quotes, I shared my heart, I shared, the craziness growing up and all the dysfunction, right? I joke, about Jerry Springer. God rest his soul, he passed away last year, but I joke my
family could have never been on Jerry Springer because it was a little too crazy. My stepdads were all good people, all of them. It's true. It's a true statement. I came from that background, but the beautiful thing is I chose not to be a victim, I chose to be a victor. And there's a big difference there, because I've watched friends and relatives and acquaintances that are stuck in the mud being a victim. And I know you're a victor because you're in network marketing. I know you're a victor because you want to rise up from your circumstances. And so I want to share with you guys, there's zero sadness. I shared in June in Salt Lake that pain, by the way, fueled me to be up here. That pain, by the way, because I was able to convert that pain. Like some people now in alternative energy, they take different coal and different things, they're converting it to a natural energy source. My pain was the coal. The beautiful thing is what came out the other side. And so I want to share with you, and I was able to do that, by the way, and I talked about this a little bit, and I've shared this on Zooms and different events. My first mentors were not people. Nobody wanted to hang out with a broke, young, uneducated dude. My first mentors were books. My first mentors were quotes. My first mentor would be something I'd read in the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or Success Magazine or Jim Rohn or, all the different amazing Dennis Whaley and Tony Robbins and Les Brown. Man, Les Brown's a treasure. I don't know how long Les is with us. Treasure his stuff while he's here. The great Zig, wow. Right here, started off as a pots and pans salesman in Dallas, Texas. Was married to his beautiful redhead, as he called her, for 55 years. What a life he had. He started off selling pots and pans, and he touched millions of people through inspiration and education. I want to share with you guys a few quotes that I have here. Not all are quotes, some are diagrams, but the first one is entrepreneur versus wantrepreneur. I want you to look at that. Who in here has a family member, a friend, an acquaintance, somebody in your life that has the next greatest idea? Raise your hand. You've been at the cocktail party and it's like, man, if I only had thought of that, my family would be in the Bahamas for the next 7 generations, right? I call BS. By the way, it only takes one risk taker to completely change your family's dynamics. I can go leader by leader in this front row. You want to change generational wealth? It takes one person or one couple to say it's up to us. That's it. I love Robert Kiyosaki talking about it. If his name was a little bit different, it'd be not Kiyosaki, Kawasaki. I share that because it's true. Somebody took a risk for Kawasaki motorcycles, for Microsoft, for Amazon, for McDonald's, for Walmart. For every brand you know, it was somebody took a risk. Well, guess what? Most of the people that you're out talking to have an idea. And a month later, guess what it is on the bottom? It's an idea. That's all it is. Where do I go with this? I didn't have a lot going for me, but one thing I'm willing to do is take action. I'm willing to take risk. I'm willing to put it on the line. I'm willing to say, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work out, but I can tell you, if it doesn't, it's not because I didn't put my heart and soul into it. And I started with that attitude a couple decades ago. I want you to get that attitude. Get the attitude of I am an entrepreneur today. Not a entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a female entrepreneur. I'm a mompreneur, as Alicia Clevenger said. I'm here to lead women. Maybe you're a man that hasn't had success the last 10 years. You're saying, man, I want to provide for my household. Well, you're a malepreneur. Step up, lead, start today. Second thing is, the basic rule of free enterprise. You must give in order to get. Guys, I think this is so important because I think we as people think that people should just show up and support us. We should just have success. Success comes from the expectation of having success, but also putting in the work so you can deserve the success. I think so often in society now with this entitlement we have going, anybody know any entitled people? I don't mean to talk about your kids like that. I love your kids. We got a son that asked me, if I stop paying car insurance, what happens? I said, you're not allowed to drive. What happens if I do? You go to jail. How risky is it? I don't know. You want to take the chance? If I stop paying my cell phone bill, what happens? I said, your phone gets turned off. Do they just turn it off? Yeah. These kids, and he's a smart kid. Graduated with a 3.8 GPA. Do I have to continue to pay my bills? No, you don't have to. I would suggest it. Put in the work. But to do that, you do that with an attitude of, what am I willing to give? Who am I willing to serve? Who am I willing to help? Why should my check grow? My check should grow because I'm putting in the work with the expectation to make my team grow. I would ask you, are you serving? Everybody in here knows I love Jim Rohn. It's one of my favorite quotes ever of Jim Rohn about servant leadership and serving people. The late, great Jim, man, he was so ahead of his time. Jim Rohn said this about service and about giving. He said, if you want great personal greatness, if you want great wealth, and most importantly, if you want great human fulfillment, it's as simple as this. Whoever renders service to many people can put themselves in line for the expectation of greatness. Great wealth, great return, great satisfaction, great reputation, and great joy. Jim said to serve it up, I'm going to serve it to you this way. The greater your service, the greater your long-term fortune. I would ask you how many people you're serving without an expectation. I hear people all the time, by the way, that say, I'm going to go enroll and sponsor this person because you're not going to believe how big my business is going to be because of this person. You don't get it. It should be, I'm going to go sponsor that person because they're going to go set their family free. I'm going to sponsor that person so they can get rid of the job they hate. I'm going to sponsor that person so they can put their feet up 6 months from now on the desk at the job and say, hey boss, I've got to retire. I would ask you, are you out serving your people? Are you giving? Next one is forget all the reasons why it won't work and believe the one reason that it will. Guys, look, we all are doubters. Every single person in here came in this room with a mask of insecurity. You're looking at him. Seriously. You don't think I wish I was 6'2" and Italian and had a good full head of hair and a 12-pack like Patrick Toussaint? Everyone has insecurities. The day they sign up in network marketing, the first thing they're saying to themselves is only two things. Number one, do I trust the person that's showing it to me? And number two, do I trust myself enough to believe in myself? It's the first thing they're asking themselves. So I'd ask you, are you giving them the reasons, the one reason? Maybe that reason comes from them, or maybe that reason comes from you. You can be the bridge if they don't have the reason of why it will work, but you need to focus on giving them a reason why it will work. There's going to be a lot of people, and rightfully so, because our industry has left people in the dark before. Well, guess what? There's going to be a lot of people saying, I don't have a reason this will work. You be the reason why it will work. Grab them by the arm and say, you know what? I can't tell you if it'll work for you, but I can tell you, you and I going to do this together, big things are going to happen. Maybe you're the reason it'll work. Next thing. Yesterday I was so clever, I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. Man, I jotted down a couple notes about that. How often do you think about how you think? The answer is for most people, not very often. When's the last time you sat down by yourself in your living room or home office or kitchen counter? When's the last time you thought about your stinking thinking? Seriously. When's the last time you got rid of all the excuses and said, you know what, it might not have worked for those 5 people, but those 5 people are not me, it's going to work for me and my family. When's the last time you've questioned your thinking? I'd tell you this, go change yourself and people will follow you from all over when you're the type of person that they want to follow. Success is like chasing a butterfly. There's not a magic formula. You watch people weave in and out. I love what Lance shared. There's no straight line. Success looks like this. Now the other part of that is, how do you come back from the failures? You have to discipline your disappointments. When you talk to 20 people and 18 say you're crazy, say that's okay because I got those too. It's okay that the 18 said no. I have 2 that said yes, and I'm putting 1 on my left and 1 on my right with the 2x2 promo. I'm not worried about the 18, I'm worried about the 2, and I'm worried about them getting their 2. I'd ask you, are you changing yourself? Are you ready to change for your family? I was very vulnerable in Las Vegas 2 years ago at our very first leadership event. I went out and hired Dr. David Lieberman in New York. Woo! Ooh, don't ever hire the best psychotherapist in America to analyze you. That printout is long. I had to grow. Startup company. 6-7 months in. I expected more of myself. My personal bar was right here. My bar had to go up here. I'd ask you, are you ready to change? It's gonna hurt, it's gonna be uncomfortable. I promise it'll be worth it. Next thing. I want to talk about greatness, the next couple slides. Somehow we've all come to believe that greatness is only for the chosen few, for the superstars. The truth is, greatness is for all of us. This is not about lowering your expectations. It's about raising them for every last one of us here in this room. Greatness is not in one special place, and it's not in one special person. Greatness is wherever someone is trying to find it. I am such a believer in this. We've all known the Michael Jordans, the LeBron James, the Tiger Woods, all the famous people. Are they great? Absolutely. Were most of them born with God-given talent? Absolutely. But they also work tirelessly. I tell you this, one of the things I love, if you ask me my number one fuel in this business, it's the stories and the personal development and watching people grow. Am I hard on them? Absolutely. Do I expect people to stick to their time on stage? Absolutely. Do I expect people to show up for leadership meetings? Absolutely. Do I expect our leadership to be in the front row? You're darn right, because they're the leaders. If they're not in the front row, the rest of the people aren't in the front row. Thank you for showing up, every single leader here. Now, where do I go with that? Can I tell you why? Because we're building a factory of leaders that are out chasing greatness. I see a bunch of 2 stars and 3 stars in here that are actually 4, 5, 6 stars in here. We're going to get you there because you believe you deserve greatness. 3 believes you deserve greatness. I personally believe you deserve greatness, and I'm going to challenge this whole room to go out and enroll their first 2. Because you know what? If you want to be great and you want to be a 4-star, a 5-star, a 6-star, you got to be a 2-star before you're a 6-star. You got to be a 3-star before you're a 4-star. I want to challenge you for greatness in 2026. We've given you the product that can go kill it. We've given you the promotions. We've given you the incentives. You have an amazing, amazing field leadership group like I've never seen before. Corporate's working tirelessly to deliver. Now it's up to you to go chase greatness. I believe in each and every one of you. The next thing about greatness. Greatness is born from wanting advice you don't like to hear. Coaching from people you like because you like what they say breeds retraction and stagnation. And if you are the coach, some of our leadership, you're just trying to be a friend, you're really the enemy of that person's dreams. Man, that hits hard. How many of our leaders just want to go out and have a drink with us? How many of our leaders want to tell us, hey, you're doing a great job when you're really not? Now, do I believe you should put somebody? Absolutely not. You always want to find you're doing something right. The late, great Mary Kay Ash talked about the Oreo cookie. Huh, Christine? The sandwich theory. You tell them something amazing, you figure out the coaching and correction in the middle, the Oreo, the cream, and the backside is you tell them, I believe in you, Sam. I believe in who you are. I love you. We got this together. I want you to know I'm cheering you on more than you're cheering yourself. I want all of us in here to grow. To get greatness, you might have one of the 6 stars say, you know what? Next time in your home meeting, this is what I would do. You find somebody that's doing incredible events and you say, teach me how to be the best event person in 3. You find the next person that says, how are you building on Zooms during the day when you're doing events at night, but how are you building during the day? You find the best coach that can help you at Zooms. You find all this leadership that's right up here in the room and you pick their brain, and I say this every event because I mean it. You pick their brain and you say, how do I enroll my first 2? How do I enroll my first 5? How do I get those 2 to start duplicating to other people? You find some good coaches. I get so passionate about it. The greatest people in the world, the Charles Barkleys, the Jordans, the Tiger Woods, all the champions that we all look up to, they all had coaches. But you guys want to set yourself free financially, you don't even have a coach. It's insanity. Next thing, someone once told me not to bite off more than I could chew. I said that I'd rather choke on greatness than nibble on mediocrity. Guys, I'm telling you, you have got to raise your bar. You got to figure out where your bar's at. There's the mediocre bar. There's the pretty darn good. Some people even call it excellent bar. And then there's greatness. I'd ask everybody in here, what does that look like to you? By the way, that's different for everybody. For some people, it's a pile of money. That's great. For other people, it's financial freedom attached to an amazing home life. To other people, it's the freedom that money brings because money brings you options for you and your family because of what you built. It's not the cars, the homes, all that stuff. It's the freedom to give you options to do what you want to do. I talk to people all the time that don't have retirement. In the greatest country in the world, of 210 countries in the world, we live in the richest country in the world, and the majority of Americans, go read the stats, will not be able to retire in the next 10, 15, 20 years. I don't know what your bar for greatness is, but let's set you guys free. Figure out what it is. Get yourself a coach, and let's set you free. Don't ever let somebody make you settle. Next one, a focused fool can accomplish more than a distracted genius. You know, and I really appreciate, by the way, Corbin. I really appreciate his kind edification, and people have said Daniel's got a great work ethic. That's true. I pride myself on that. Maybe I've sacrificed too much at times, if I'm being vulnerable and honest with you, because I'm so intense. I'm like a teepee in a wigwam. I'm too tense. Sorry, I love cheesy jokes. My dad jokes, I keep them in a database. This one really resonated with me. You want to know why? Because people talk about intelligence. Whether it's one of our leaders, myself, corporate, different leaders, this doctor, this intelligence. Intelligence is wonderful. But I'll tell you what's more important, and this is a lesson that I had to learn the last 2 years. EQ, I'll put over IQ any day of the week. I know a ton of broke, smart people. I know a ton of people that have CVs and bios that are longer than this world, and I guarantee they don't live 1/4 of the lifestyle that this world has lived because of this industry right here, because they're amazing CV and bios. I know a lot of educated derelicts. I love the Calvin Coolidge quote that Patrick shared about persistence. Education's not where it's at. Intelligence is not where it's at. By the way, I love education from the standpoint of always bettering yourself. I'm a believer. I hear people put down school all the time. That's not me. I didn't go. I always tell people, you can tell I'm a smart guy, I just don't have the papers to prove it. But I would never discourage our children or anybody from getting a better education. That's not me. But what I would do is teach them how to have a high EQ, not IQ. It's one thing to have a high IQ where everybody knows you're the smartest person in the room. By the way, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a different room. But I'm more worried about EQ. I've had to learn the last couple years, it's the interactions. I still suck at it half the time. I'm being honest. I got up here to be vulnerable a couple minutes I've left. My EQ's still growing. Now guess what I put on my list for 2026? My EQ's gonna grow off the chart. Because I've become obsessed with it. Instead of watching the success financial business coaches, now I'm watching the how do I grow through my communication coaches. That's a completely different conversation. You master communication. I believe you master the art of fulfillment by growing leaders because you mastered how to communicate with them. That's an area in 26 that I'm going to grow tremendously. And I'm challenging you to do the same thing. I'm challenging you to focus on your family, focus on your business, and focus here at 3, and focus on you, because a focused fool can attract more than a genius that's distracted. Next one, we have fun, we are helpful, we stay positive, we are respectful, we do great things, we love what we do, we work hard and smart, we communicate and listen, we strive for excellence, we are a team. Guys, this is so important to me. I know different leaders have talked about unity. And I know there's leaders that have been in this industry, that they have their own system, they do it this way, I've been around for 30 years, blah, 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 blah. By the way, a lot of them have been repeating the same thing for decades. It's time to grow. It's 2026, not 2000, right? I say that. You know when I say that? Because I don't care what team you're on. I don't care what flag you wave. You're on team 3 if you're in this room. We are a team. If you showed up in Dallas, Texas, you're on team 3. If you want to set your family free in 2026, you're on team 3. The check from this business comes from 3 International. We all get the same looking check, deposit, credit card to use. We're all in the same company. It doesn't matter where you're at around the world. I cannot pound the team/unity concept. I can't pound it louder to you outside of telling you I don't care where you're from. I don't care even what your background is. I care what we do together, and I've shared this the next couple of years. If you're in 3, you're on our team. If you're in 3, I believe in you whether you started 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago, because I know we're just getting started and what we're going to build is massive. Don't ever question if you're part of the club. Don't ever question if you're part of this amazing unified group. Am I part of the unified group or am I on the outside? I'm telling you right now, I'm looking you in the eyes. You're part of the group. You're on team 3, and I love each and every one of you. I'm done here in a couple minutes. The next one is, in order to be successful, your focus has to be so intense that people think you're crazy. You know, the first thing I thought of when I saw this slide was sitting down with my team, my financial team. And word for word, in Houston, Texas, they said, "Are you crazy?" And I looked at them and I said, "I think I am." They said, "You want to go into networking, an industry you've been in for 6 years and loved. You want to start a new company, put up the capital, time, energy, commitment, and take a big risk?" And I said, "I do." And they said, "Do we need to have you checked in somewhere?" And I said, "Possibly." It takes guts to do something big. It takes guts to put your money on the line and say, "I believe in this." It takes guts to go out there and be so intense that people think you're nuts. I want you, when you're going out there, to have that intensity, that passion when you're sharing. I want you to go out there. Crazy people make crazy money. I love characters. My dear friend Larry in Houston, he's nuttier than squirrel poop. He's a dear friend. No, seriously, he's an unbelievable guy. He's in real estate development is where he made his money. But he's one of the most wild, eccentric guys you've ever met. I remember him showing up to the country club. He'd show up every Saturday at 9 a.m. in flip-flops and shorts with a backwards hat. Snottiest club in Houston. He used to hold the PGA event out there. Larry would show up and he'd be the loudest guy. You'd know he was there because he's coming through the parking lot. He was 50-some years old at the time, 10 years ago. I bring him up because I believe a big part of his success is because of his crazy intensity in all things that he does. How you do one thing and the little thing is how you do everything. I'll text our leaders and say, "Make sure you're in the front." I'll text our leaders and say, "Hey, let's plan for this Zoom. Let's get together the night before." Because I want to make sure the little details are done. I want to make sure the food's good. I want to make sure the food's delivered on time for everybody in this room so your experience is incredible. I want to make sure the GLP product is not great, it's unbelievable. I wanted to make sure that Dr. Dan delivered, and he did. Give Dr. Dan a big hand. I want you to leave here in a few minutes with an intensity and a passion. And I want you to be crazy. Because this is not easy to start this thing. And it's been on my heart the last 6-8 weeks. This wasn't easy 3 years ago. It'll be May 23rd. It'll be our 3rd birthday. It wasn't easy to say, "I'm going to go start a company." It wasn't easy for the leadership that gave up checks to say, "Hey, we're in." It wasn't easy for the previous platform to say, "You know what? We're in." They never missed a check in 1 week. And I made sure of it. But it was crazy. It was intense. I want you to go out there and share with people in that same crazy, passionate, intense way. I want you to go out there and look at somebody at Starbucks, and when you're 16 minutes in, they say, "I don't know if this is for me." You're obviously crazy passionate about it. I want you to look them in the eye in minute 16 and say, "You know what? This isn't for you." And I want you to grab your notebook, get up from the table, and leave. Stop messing around with people that are not interested. I love the follow-up. The fortune's in the follow-up. But for 1 hour, you can meet with 4 people for 15 minutes a piece, and you're spending time with the broke person that's 50 years old, and you're sitting at Starbucks buying them a latte because they can't buy their own latte. And an hour later, they're still not interested. Minute 16, you should have said, I'm sorry, I got people to help. I barely speak Spanish, but I know the word adios. I'm serious. Have that posture. Have that conviction. You get that posture and conviction in you, I'm telling you, you're going to get people to follow you. And you're saying, who's the maniac up there? Me. You get that passion and conviction in you, you're going to get people to jump in line to follow you. Walk with your shoulders up. Look yourself in the mirror. Stuart Smalley. Gosh darn it, I think people love me. Put on a mask of security even if you feel insecure. I told you I love personal development. I love growth. Well, guess what? Nothing will challenge you like this business. But you know what will get past that insecurity, that initial? If you're out there passionately sharing on a daily basis and being crazy while you do it. Last but not least, yesterday, tomorrow, and now. Guys, yesterday's yesterday. I had a heart-to-heart. Everybody knows my struggle. I try to just lay it out, by the way. Some people like it, some don't. I care less. I was chatting with my brother. Everybody knows I shared my brother's struggles. I put back in rehab 3 weeks ago. For the 3rd time since he moved to Salt Lake last March. But I was visiting him 2 weeks ago, a weekend. You know what I said? I said, little brother Mark, yesterday was yesterday. 42 years old. He's 5.5 years younger than me. I said, it's time to let yesterday go, because we're going to change your life. I want to know how many people in here are stuck to yesterday's story. I bet you 85-90% of this room. I went through a divorce, I had this loss, I had this business failure, I did this, I did that. That's your story you're telling yourself. That's yesterday's news. Mark and I went through the same thing as a kid. He turned down that road, I got addicted to business. He turned down that road, I got addicted to helping people and loving people and serving people. And he's a wonderful person. But you know what I said to him 2 weeks ago? I said, let yesterday's story be yesterday's story. The late, great Maya Angelou said, the biggest prisoner in the world is the story that's stuck inside of you. That's the worst prisoner in the world, is that story that's stuck inside you. I want you to get rid of that story and leave it in yesterday. Because here at Free, we're not only about tomorrow and a massive vision, which I have a massive vision for 2026, a massive vision for what we're going to do. This room, I don't ever want to go into a room this size again, and I'm so proud of you for everybody that showed up. I'm proud of each and every one of you. But I look forward to seeing the room where we can't even see the people at the back. I heard 7 different speakers get up here. 7 speakers in 2 days saying I spoke to 8,000, 10,000, 20,000. 7 different people mentioned the arenas they spoke in. Well, guess what? Guess what they're thinking? I want to speak in those again. Guess what I'm thinking? I'm thinking screw the high school auditoriums. I'm thinking we need to go to NBA arenas. I'm thinking we pack it out so big that people a couple years from now say, what is that crazy company called 3 International? You know how we do that? We do that in the now. I love casting a vision. I love talking about taking you guys to places you've never even heard of. The Maldives is going to be an amazing trip. France and Monaco is an incredible trip. Took the leaders on an amazing, stayed at the Hermitage in Monaco, where they're not allowed to use your first name if you're a guest. True story. 6-star, not a 5-star, 6-star in Monaco, Mr. Picou. I said, call me Daniel. This is a true story. The guy out front said, I'm not allowed to, sir. My wife said, fine. It's Mr. and Mrs. here at the Hermitage. Wow. For a kid that grew up in Colorado, in state's custody for 2.5 years, you think I ever pictured myself at the Hermitage in Monaco? Oh, yeah. I'd say the word, but it's a Sunday, so I won't. H-E double hockey sticks, no. But I always thought there was something more out there. I just didn't know where it would lead me. I'm going to tell you where we're going to go in 2026, but we're only going to do it if you commit to it right now. This is my last slide. 2026, we're going to develop people where all the leaders that spoke this weekend in the next year or two, they all sit up here in the front row cheering on the next group. By the way, I believe that next group's not even in the company. Do I believe there's 20, 30 other people who could have spoke here this weekend and knocked it out of the park? You're darn right I do. But I believe the next group, the top 5, top 10 aren't in the company yet. I believe, and I can feel this, I believe we're at where some of the big companies that you know about were at 2, 3, 4 years in before their massive growth. And I can name some of them, and you guys have all heard the names. That's where we're at. You want to know where we're at? We're sitting right on the edge of greatness in this company. We're sitting right on that edge where when you look at that slide earlier, and there's 2 guys digging in the same place, they're going into the same mine, and one was inches away, that's where this company's at. I know it. I can feel it. You want to know why I can feel it? Because the energy in the room is different. I could see it yesterday morning. The energy in the room is different. Guys, we're going to build what I believe to be one of the greatest movements that this industry's ever seen. We're going to build a movement and a company around this globe that's never been done before. That's not hyperbole, I mean that. We're going to build a movement that sets people free, where they have freedom of choice, freedom to eat what they want to eat, freedom to travel where they want to travel to, freedom to get across this stage and cry when they're holding up a check and say, this is what I made the last 6 months. I think it's so silly in this industry you can't even tell people what you make. What other career can you not tell people what you make? You should be dang proud of what you freaking make and build in this industry. I'm so proud of it. I say that to say in a few years, we're going to have people crossing the stage, hundreds of them and thousands of them. They're going to be parading across, showing you how they set themselves and their families free for years and decades to come. We're going to have people crossing the stage that don't speak a word of English, and they wouldn't even need to because there's tears streaming down their face when they tell their story through a translator of how 3 internationals completely changed their life. We're going to have people get up here that look different. Some will be tall, some will be short, some will be black, some will be Mexican, some will be Chinese, some will be white. We're going to have people cross the 3 international stage all over the world at leadership events and arenas all over the world that are across the stage, and they're going to say, because of 3, it was the best decision I ever made to join 3 International. I no longer have to go into a job on Monday morning. 57% of the heart attacks in the last 10 years has happened on Monday morning at an office because people don't want to go into a job. Just over broke, jump out of bed. So as I close, I'd ask you this. Are you on this mission with all of the leaders up here? Are you on this mission to go out here and get your first 2? 1 left, 1 right. Are you on this mission with us to be coachable and teachable? And are you willing to create your own inspiration when the music goes off and the lights die down? Because it's going to in a few minutes. It's exciting right now, but in 30 minutes you're going to be with yourself going home. Flying home, driving home. What are you going to do then? Greatness is created in public, and what you create in greatness is created in private, and what you create in private ends up coming out as greatness in public. When the lights go off and the music dims down, what are you going to do? I can tell you this, I'm going to believe in each and every one of you. I can tell you this, I'm going to work to serve each and every one of you. I can tell you this, I'm going to serve to fight for my family. I can tell you this, I'm going to serve to fight for your family. I can tell you this, I'm going to fight for every customer we have in this company, for every leader we have in this company, for every corporate employee we have in this company, for every vendor that's trusted in me for 9 years and I've had a relationship with. I can tell you this, I'm going to fight for every person that had the guts and the courage to show up in Dallas, Texas. It takes guts to win. It takes guts to pull out your credit card and buy an airplane ticket. It takes guts to book the hotel room. It takes guts to show up at an event like this when your spouse is at home or your loved one or your kids. I don't know who you left, but it took guts. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to be a warrior and fight for you in 2026 like you've never seen. Daniel Picou is going to get in the best shape of his life. I might not have Patrick's six-pack, but wait to see what happens the next 60 days, 90 days. We're a nutrition company. I got to look the part. I'm challenging you to do the same. I'm challenging you to go set yourself free. I'm challenging you to set your family free. I'm challenging you to go fight like a warrior for everything you care about. I'm challenging you to go out there and be crazy. I'm challenging you to go out there and love on people like never before. One of the greatest highlights of my life was introducing Love 3 in June of 2025 in Salt Lake City. It's a memory I'll never forget because we're going to impact kids all over the world. Well, guess what? This kid, I'm really just a big kid, by the way. Trapped in a man's body, my wife always says. This kid is still a kid, but with the heart of a lion. I'm going to grow me so I can serve you. I'm going to grow you so you can serve other people. We're going to grow other people so we can set them free for generations to come. And we're going to change society. We're going to change this crazy dynamic and divisiveness that's happened. And we're going to create a community and a movement full of love and inspiration and hope and success all over the world. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you being here.